So today I'm joined by a guest who I've known personally for a while in Chongqing called Martin Hinkins. And at the moment he is home in Germany. So Martin, where in Germany are you?
It's a small town near Aachen. I don't know if you know this. It's in the
Oh,
west of Germany. It's close to Holland.
okay, so for those of you, those of us in our, for those of you in the audience who aren't familiar, perhaps Martin, could you say a few words about yourself?
Sure. So I have been living in Chongqing for around 5 years, in China around 7 years. In Chongqing, I have a little chain of restaurants, also in Chengdu one, but I've been mainly living in Chongqing. I'm married with a Chongqing girl. I met her in university in the UK. I actually studied in the UK. I don't know if you know that.
No, I actually didn't know that. I kind of assumed you met in China or Germany, but where in the UK was that?
In Scotland, near Edinburgh.
Oh, okay, yeah, Edinburgh's really nice.
Yeah, but I've never lost my accent.
That sounds good. I like it.
Yeah, and yeah, after then I met my wife in the UK, and then I kind of followed her to Chongqing, and then yeah, I got stuck.
Okay, so when did you go back to Aachen?
I went back on the 9th of February.
But so, I mean, could you describe, the basic situation in Germany? What is the situation there under the coronavirus?
Sure. When I arrived here, there were only around a few hundred cases, and then suddenly it also started to spike here. And then when it started to really, when the numbers really went to go off, then the government introduced some measures. Because in Germany it's like this: Germany is divided into different states, and if each state actually has different policies.
Oh,
For example,
okay.
in Bavaria now next week you have to they force you to, or you have to wear masks in public, while in most other states you don't have to. Now I am in the west, in kind of a hotspot. It's called Heinsberg. There were the most cases in this spot. It's just 5 kilometers from here, but still there was never a lockdown, and we never had to wear masks. What really happened is they just told everybody to stay at home, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a very dense area here.
So if there's no lockdown over there, so basically at the moment you're free to come and go as you like from your home?
Yes, I can go anywhere and whenever I like. It's just the only difference is that these normal little shops, like the clothing shops and all these small shops in the town, are closed.
Right.
But restaurants are still open. The difference is we just cannot eat inside the restaurants, but we can still order takeaway. We can still go to the restaurants to order food and just take it away. And the supermarkets are still open. The supermarket, they introduced like a kind of queue system, so there can only around, I think it was 50 people can be in the supermarket at the same time. So in some times during the day there's a little queue, but we do it like this whenever we want to buy stuff, and then we go very early, because in the early morning there's nobody there, so we don't have to queue, and you don't really have to be afraid.
Okay, and kind of what's the latest news over there? I mean, is it projected to kind of get worse, or has it kind of leveled off, or are the cases over there even like starting to decrease a little bit?
In my town has around 4,000 people, and on the town website it says that there were 40 cases in my town, so around 1% of the population. Now it seems to be the numbers on TV, they seem to be leveling off. It's getting much better. But I mean, to be honest, I don't really watch TV anymore because these numbers don't really tell me anything for everyday life. Because outside there's no people as always. Like in a small town like this, there's really no people in the town anyways. So it doesn't really make a difference apart from when you go to the supermarket.
Right. So at the moment, do you have any idea on when you'll be able to return to China? Because I've heard, a lot of the international flights are still being cancelled. So just wondering what your plans are at the moment for returning.
Yeah, so now the problem is that we cannot go back to China because there's this new policy that foreigners can now not enter the country, right?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, so basically now we're just waiting until the government in China allows foreigners to get back in. Because I have my livelihood in China, and the longer I stay here, the less, let's say, the less connected I'm going to be with all the stuff I have to do with work back in Chongqing, right?
Okay, and are the restaurants still operating in China? Because over here, I mean, life, at least in Chongqing, is more or less back to normal. I mean, people are still wearing the masks. Well, most people are.
Yes.
Kind of did it in stages. First they're open for maybe only 6 hours a day, and then it was a bit longer. And then for a while, I mean, they were also testing at the entrances as well. You had to give them your QR code, just to prove you don't have any symptoms. Okay, so I was just wondering then. So at the moment, even though you don't have the lockdown, are you still spending most of your time at home?
Yes, we're still spending most of the time at home. We would anyways. I think the only big difference in life is that we cannot really meet other people. I mean, it's still a recommendation by the government, but most people really adhere to it. So we haven't really had any contact with any friends apart from like WhatsApp or these online contact. All the neighbors, I didn't see the neighbors for quite a while, and that's really bad for my son, because he wants to play with other people.
Sure.
I mean, so every day what I'm really doing is just playing with my son to get him busy.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask. So, since you're spending most of your time at home, what are you doing to pass the time?
Yeah, just pretty much playing with my son and trying to keep up with the news in the restaurants in Chongqing, and talking to my partner, because I have a partner with my restaurants also. Yeah, doing the work that I can do for the restaurants from here, talking to staff, and then just playing with my son and helping my wife with cooking sometimes. Yeah, just the usual daily work you do at home.
Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty good. And just like wondering, what is the general feeling of people over there? I mean, do you get the sense that people are living in a lot of fear of the virus? People, if you go outside, do people kind of stay kind of a long distance away from each other, or are people kind of the attitude that at some point the virus is just going to kind of disappear and everything will go back to normal? Yes, so what are people's feelings in general over there?
I would say I wouldn't say people are afraid, but people are definitely. I would say the vast majority of people is listening to the government recommendations of how to behave. But what's really, I think, striking is that really a very small number of people is wearing masks. For example, whenever I go to the supermarket with my wife, we're always the only ones who are wearing masks. And in the beginning, people were actually looking at us like, oh, these guys are kind of weird. But now you can really notice that people are accepting people who are wearing masks. And I think people are now also starting to appreciate people wearing masks, especially the people behind the counters who are selling the meat, or who are, cashiers. But I wouldn't say there's fear. And I think people are just waiting until the government is announcing that the threat is gone, or now the shops can open again. Actually, in some states, certain shops are allowed to open again.
Okay, so and also, do you feel that the public in general are kind of following the rules, or do you hear any stories of people trying to fight back and insist on going out and doing what they normally do?
Here we don't really notice anything, but in the news there was a case in the bigger cities, because the only place is in the bigger cities where there's real lockdown, like Cologne. There you actually are not supposed to go out, and they also check with drones and the police. But in the small towns, they don't really do that. But in those big cities, there were some cases where some young people went out to protest for their right to freedom of movement and speech, because some people are interpreting this as a chance for the government to suppress protests or suppress free speech. But I think it's very exaggerated, because I think there's no other way to fight a virus than to just stop people from gathering in big crowds, you know. So I think it's a bit.
Sure, yeah. So just asking, what do you miss about Chongqing since you've been away so long?
Yes, I do miss the food, but I don't miss hot pot because, to be honest, I don't really like hot pot very much because whenever I eat it, I have to stay at home for 2 or 3 days. I don't mind eating those, but I just the level of spiciness and the oil, I'm not a big fan. So I'm much bigger fan of the xiaomian and some noodles. You know, I love wanzamian. Wanzamian is I kind of to me it's like the bolognese of China.
Yeah, it's just very nice. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you miss about Chongqing?
I live my friends. I miss talking to the staff or just being in the restaurants, talking to customers. Yeah, I generally miss the big city vibe. I think, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And when the time comes in, you can come back. Yeah, I mean everything here is more or less back to normal.
Yes, I hope it can come back soon. Yeah, really, really hope so. My wife also can't wait to go back.
Okay, then. So just before you finish, were you familiar before with our platform iChongqing?
Not really, to be honest.
Okay, so we have quite a big audience around the world, particularly on Facebook. So just before we finish, maybe is there a word you would like to express for your friends and your audience in Chongqing and around the world?
Stay safe, everybody. It doesn't matter if you're in China where it's already safe or in anywhere else in the world. Just listen to what the government says about how to fight the virus, and yeah, stay healthy and use this to keep in touch with old friends or to contact old friends.
Sure, that's perfect. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to finish the interview then. So I want to offer my thanks again to Mr. Martin Hinkins. And yeah, we're looking forward to you returning as well. And when I get the chance, I'll love to go and visit the restaurants again. Yeah, I really love those. Okay, and hope you stay safe and enjoy yourself in Germany. And of course, hope the lockdown doesn't reach the town you're in.
Yes, and,
I hope so. Okay, so yeah, I wish you all the best. Thanks for joining us, and for our audience, we'll be seeing you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, all right, bye bye.
Bye bye.